bullish on HEX. Baby dolls, HEX has been pumping 20%, 30%. It's lovely to see the green everywhere. Green. I wanted to give this special update to you. It's specifically HEX focused because there are some interesting ratios that are indicating there is a difference with this rally compared to the ones of the past. And it has to do with the HEX ratios. So we've got two special things to look at here. We've got Erection HEX, the HEX from Ethereum, the first OG HEX. You also have PulseChain HEX, pHEX. Both of their ratios are super strong. Now, why were they split into two? Because they were so powerful, they had to be split up. Now, we're going to continue. This is HEX from Ethereum, friends. We have a bull alert news. Now, this is interesting, friends. Don't worry about trading this or anything, but it is fascinating. HEX from Ethereum, eHEX, has now officially recovered the Richard Heart FUD tweet, this is monumental, friends. I can't stress to you how important this is, because I have the live chart here. It went down to as low as 10. Now, I got death threats there. I got viciously attacked. You got all the stock standard stuff in crypto, like, everybody lost their money because of you. You got liquidated, blah, 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 blah. They always say that same stuff. And I thought, well, I'm just defending people's bags who couldn't have access to Twitter every 15 minutes. But, okay, you keep yelling. But I knew, friends. I knew at the end of the day, it's fun to fight back. It is fun. But we know ultimately it's just a red candles talking, friends. It's just a red candles talking, friends. Now, okay, now I'm gonna play some pump music for us because this can't be understated, okay? This is enormous. For a coin to be like the founder says, I don't like you anymore. You are no longer my child, okay? When it says, you are no longer my child, and just put the bullet to the back of the head, and then it sells off. What happens instead? Now, why? If you want to know conceptually why, friends, there's an answer here. And it's because right here, Richard Hart, some say Richard Fart, he wasn't streaming. He was missing. Basically, his promotion levels were low. That's it. Just think about that, okay? In terms of like when he's streaming 3 hours, maybe that's like a 10 out of 10 maximum exposure of streaming. He's doing no streaming. He's literally a 0. All he's doing is tweets. It's like a 1 out of 10. You see that scale? Now, here's the thing. The market, I don't know from you guys, from everybody. Shout out to Trev. Shout out to everybody. Everybody and like Lady Havid. Everyone's just been begging Richard to come stream again. Because you know how effective he is, right? We're still using... he's got really effective marketing talking points. Even they're sometimes so effective, like the market has chosen, where he has to pull it back because we use it too much, which is kind of funny. Now, Richard Hart, friends, was not streaming here. He was not streaming here. And he was not streaming here. So when eHEX pulse ratio was all the way up here earlier in the year, before the FUD, and I'm going to show you right here, he wasn't streaming, okay? What ends up happening is Richard then says, I don't like you, eHEX. Okay, I don't like you anymore. And then we drop down. So basically, friends, the market, what it did was it started to price in. You had the emergency knee jerk where people say, oh my gosh, you will no longer throw attention and energy to this coin. I am now going to remove my capital units, my labor units away, and I'm going to go move it to something you will talk about. That's the market moving. That's basically, we're living in an attention economy, right? So when it went down though, and it came down here, what was your friend Tommy saying? I was like saying, look, man, it doesn't look good. Okay, look, I'm not criticizing. I'm not the billionaire. I'm just saying it doesn't look good, man. Like if you want to onboard people, we literally look like Incest. Cletus and Bigsby. Did you sleep with my sister again? Hey, she's your sister too. We just look like a bunch of people like that, right? So trailer park trash. Okay, and the minus 99% doesn't help either. But I was letting everyone know, I'm like, look, man, nothing came out that you already didn't know. Sorry, you already knew everything that Richard was talking about. He doesn't like eHEX. Well, duh, he made a freaking chain for PulseChain. Oh, the gas fees are high. Yeah, but I showed you streams from 2021 where Richard literally said, he's like, I can't think of any one reason why eHEX won't continue to have value as much as pHEX. He actually says that in one of his clips, friends, if I can find it. Okay, so he says, I can't think of one reason. And luckily for you, because you're a baby doll, I actually have it here, friends.
I can't really think of a reason that eHEX won't continue to be valuable. I think even if pHEX is a better network, I think you're going to have two valuable things.
So you see what I mean? Like we knew that, right? Now, what ends up happening though is the truth is what was actually happening was they're all the core coins, and eHEX is, that was, I guess, just how the market plays out. It's the speculative leg compared to everything. It is the wild child one. So most people thought that Inc would have been the wild child, but it turns out that eHEX was. So, don't bother trying to predict these. There's no point, because you spend 15,000 hours, you probably got to the wrong conclusion anyway. So what ends up happening is the market comes down, and I'm just reminding everyone, I'm like, man, Richard's been missing from everything. The community's still there. People still believe. And also you had Johnny Chaos's talking points. Shout out to Johnson. Also my talking points. Like I'm telling everyone, man, there's 69 billion worth of stable coins on Ethereum. It's main city, friends. It's like you have an embassy in New York. You have an embassy there. And it's a conduit. People are going to go there first. So to say it's going to be like dead forever, but I don't think anyone was arguing that. They just think the ratio is just going to continue to bleed out forever. But as you get to see, friends, actually not. Because we're starting to see things like on Solana and other chains, and now Ethereum are now going to really try hone in and make their layer 1 chain costs better. So event, we did run up, friends. We did run up. Okay, so we have recovered this move. Now what happens from here, I don't know. But like, yeah, I mean, like I remember I was saying, I remember when we were down here, I'm like, look, man, just telling you, if you guys want to just start selling up here when you're in profit on your pulses, you can get out if you want. Because the founder tweeting his own coin down minus 90%, it was not on my bingo card. You know, so that wasn't hard. But here it is. It's come back, friends. It's like in a overview, it basically what I'm saying is the community is bigger than Richard. That's it. Okay. Bitcoin is bigger than Satoshi. Ethereum is bigger than Vitalik. Even Caradanzo is bigger than Charles. Now, here's the thing. How much bigger, though? That's another question. Like, do you want to sit through this again? Do you want to sit through this period of like, oh my gosh, you're destroyed for 9 months? See, that's a lot amount of time that you've lost, pretty much, okay? Because the founder is so pivotal to things. But it's up to the community to take over. So that's why I wanted to show you that super bullish. But that's eHEX. Now we're going on to pHEX, friends. But quickly, pHEX. This eHEX, friends, going strong. It is extremely important, right? It shows you the whole PulseChain ecosystem is strong. All the core coins are strong. Remember, the ratio went to a low as 10. Now it's up to 60. So you could have made a 5-6 exit. Now, it's not going to have the most leverage on Pulse, of course, because it's Richard's first child and stuff. But it is nice to at least see we have a no man left behind policy. No coin left behind. Now I'm going to show you something really bullish. This is the pHEX to Pulse ratio. Now, if you remember this, friends, this thing was a disaster for a long time, which it was a disaster, because what ended up happening was we all thought that it was going to keep going up, because what was harmful was the ecosystem was dropping and HEX was dropping worse. Just to show you how bad that was during that time, it's like crypto's in a bear market and Bitcoin is dropping the worst out of everything. You kind of look at Bitcoin like, whoa, man, you're a freak show. What the hell happened to you? You see what I mean? It's meant to be the monetary base. You see, it's almost like you're thinking, how's that possible? You're the money base. How's Bitcoin dropping more than everything else? It means something is like deeply sick. It's got a cancerous tumor in there. That's what it was implying. That's why it was really hard to basically relive this, even when you look at the charts. And I'll just show you it right now again, right here. Here we go, right? So it was really hard. But now, friends, this is the best part, right? So even though this calm, man, this was brutal, just to come down here. We've now flipped green on the weekly SuperTrend. But This is not your ordinary ratio chart, friends. They're all Richard Hart coins, which means they carry less risk, which means if you're right on a direction, your upside is like way smaller than if you got a PDI or a Tangang coin or a 9-inch coin or like, you know, BBC or the influencer coins, whatever it is, friends. Your upside on them is just enormous, but you have enormous risk. They can rug, they can disappear. The coin can be overpriced. You know what I mean? There's a lot more risk factors. But if you want to know, check this out, right? So even if HEX here goes up to here, you're only getting 80% on Pulse. 80%. Like you're in like things like Pico on PulseChain and DWB, but you're trying to make like a 30x on Pulse, okay? But you have high risk with them, right? More uncertainty. Now, it's flipped green on the weekly SuperTrend, which is beautiful, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's just gonna like, woo, go up. Like it could still oscillate, come back down, take a while, and go up. Now, why is this important? It's not super turbo bullish as much as we think, but it is still great. You got to remember, friends, ETH BTC. Remember I told you ETH BTC was like Pulse to HEX. You remember that? So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to invert this ratio. Okay, so I'm just going to invert it so you can show, so we can see, right? Now this is ETH BTC. You see that? Look at this. Remember this risk going up, going down, but look what's ended up happening now. What's happening now? So this thing has come back down. What's going on here? Well, friends, ETH BTC was the key as to what's going on. It is, isn't it interesting how that ETH BTC barometer, it is a proxy leader for how the relationship between the same community members are thinking about HEX and Pulse. So this is ETH BTC, friends. ETH BTC has been dog poop. Really dog poop. See, ETH BTC has gone like so weak down. So remember, ETH is the layer 1 chain and Bitcoin is the base money. Well, in the PulseChain community, right, Richard Hart community, the Ethereum is Pulse, PLS, and then the Bitcoin is HEX. HEX is a better Bitcoin, remember? So that's the base money. So it's interesting how it's playing out, right? That's why this thing, what I just showed you was the inverted chart of that. What I'll do now is I'll just paste it to you now and show you this now. As you can see how this comes back down, bang, comes back down. So that's ETH BTC. Remember, ETH BTC's been really weak. Well, now that's been weak. But look, the best part is you don't need to worry about these. It's nice to see them oscillate. They don't go too far one way or the other. There really is. There's no man left behind here. That's pretty much it. And I don't like calling anything safe crypto, right? But it's a safe oscillator. So it's safe for liquidity farming. So if you want to participate on the PulseX liquidity farms, you don't have enormous divergence risk, which is the impermanent loss on them. Of course, on other ones you do. Don't touch the stablecoin ones. So that ETH BTC barometer is interesting, right? Which kind of implies, right? It implies, okay, if that's a barometer, then when this thing turns around and goes up, what we'll see is Pulse starts doing better than HEX. So what would that look like? Well, it would look like this chart starts to come back around. It starts to come back around. Or if you wanted to just go back to the original chart, I'm just doing the inverse of them so you can see. It would be this thing. So maybe ETH BTC, when Ethereum starts getting strong, maybe this might come back down. Why? Because maybe Pulse is time to catch up. But you got to remember, look at the numbers we're dealing with, man. Like if you go, friends, from here to the top, it's 40%. If you go from here to the bottom, it's 30%. They're tiny moves. Plus 40, minus 30. Look at, for example, like DWB and Pico and PulseChain. It can drop 90% against Pulse or go up 10x. You see that huge deviation? It can go up 10, 20, 30x. Same as like you watch the Alien coin. Alien coin went up like 65x. But your risk is it drops 90%. You see that? You're not going to get that with these. So I hope you understand. Everyone, I know that everyone's combative. Everyone hates each other. My coin or whatever. But it's a risk curve. Okay, it's a risk curve. That's why people understand it. It's not PvP. It's just, hey, there's risk here. Like there's only one HEX. There's only one Inc. Only one PulseX, one PulseChain. The Richard Hart coins. There's only one Richard Hart. That's it. You see that? It's a blue chip area. of the ecosystem. And then you might go, oh, dick with but, that's cool. Yeah, but friends, you got to remember, there's what, like 300 other altcoins? What if it's not dick with but? What if one of the other ones that haven't made it? You see, what if one that's not as funny or cool, relatable? Do you see? Because you don't have a pool of like 2 coins to choose from in these altcoins and stuff out here. You have 300. So, look, it doesn't mean we walk away. It means we just do more research and we try to figure out the key information asymmetry, which you do have. You can go to Twitter, type in DWB. You can go type in Pika, P-I-K-A, join the Telegram, talk about the Poke Center being built and everything. You see that? So but it took more time and more effort. So a lot of people, they take it for granted. But no, you did a lot of time and work, man. Someone just coming and looking onto this has no idea. Someone just hears about PulseChain, maybe from Crypto Banter show, and they see the bubbles. They got no idea where the hell to start. They have no idea to watch your friend Tommy or even dig through tweets or whatever and figure out, oh, like who the hell do I buy? So they don't have a choice, right? They got to buy, I guess, the Richard Hart coins. But that's even a risk extra on top of buying the basic Bitcoin and Ethereum. You see, so there is no free lunch, but also if you do take the risk, you get compensated with upside if you get it right in a big way. So my final post here for you, friends, is to flash this nice $1.49 hex. It's beautiful. This is Ned and Homer after a nice big hangover. It's good to think about these numbers. Like, can we get there? What was it? What would it require? You know what I mean? Like, friend, the beautiful parties, man. Shout out to the GoPulse guys. By the way, GoPulse, if you're watching, I post PulseCoin list more often because on PulseCoin list, there are 5 coins here listed. So you have pHEX and eHEX. I just like, it's just easy for me to put them. I like keeping them there, right? You got to remember, man, guys out there, like, if you want people just to touch Richard Hart coins, it's in your interest to support eHEX because people like using it as a speculative super degen OG wild child. They like using it in their mind. So if you don't support eHEX at all, that's completely fine. I'm just telling you, you are literally funneling people into the other altcoins. Every time you deny eHEX from being listed on any of these displays, you're giving an extra buyer to PDI. You're giving an extra buyer to Peak on PulseChain, Dick with Butt. You're incentivizing people more to go look around. Now, here's the thing. They are all powerful themselves. They don't really need it. But I'm just showing you how this train of thought is working in your mind. Okay, so this is PulseCoin list. As you can see, friends, it's only got 4 of the tickers here. But the guy who does, sorry, this is GoPulse.com. But GoPulse, I think the guy is a massive like Richard Hart maxi type. So he's when Richard was like, you know, basically saying you are no longer my child. When he was doing that, I think this guy took it like really, really seriously. What I want to show you now is this beautiful part. If you go to the bubbles and then make sure you select liquidity, you can actually see the liquidity out here, friends. So what you're going to do is this is how you work out everything, how much money you need. So because everything's linked, you want to add up PulseX, Pulse, Inc, and pHEX, right? You just want to add them all up and divide them by 2. To get the liquidity required. So their total bid and ask is 120 million divided by 2, so 60 million on the ask. So if you want the whole ecosystem to do a 100x, that's 100x, 100x, you got to add in 600 million, okay, which is 10 times that offer. Remember from the Uniswap formula, I've gone through it many times, but also that's a bit conservative because that I think some of it is cross leverage. So I think it's actually less money needed, which is beautiful. The less money, the better, friends. The less money needed is better because, you know, you want to pack more of a punch. So this is this is really, really lovely to see when it comes to this. So if you're wondering, okay, combined hex is what, 1 cent now. What would it take to get to $1.50? If you want to know how we calculate it, right? So this is a Uniswap formula and it'll be net buyer pressure. So you go, okay, $1.50 from 1 cent is 150x. So what you'll do is you'll say, first you go, how many x's do I want to do? You go, okay, 150. You'll press your square root button and you go, okay, see this number, 12.2? That's how much money extra you need to push the ask. You get it? You got to push that ask 12.2 times bigger. Now, here's the thing. Combined eHEX and pHEX is probably like 25 million both. So it's 12 million for an us. So we know if you really want it to go to $1.50 for combined HEX, you have to do 12.25 times half of their offer. So it's about 12.5. So you do 12.25 times 12.5. You have $150 million needed to smack it up. However, once again, that is a vacuum world where no one clicks sell. So, but if you want to know, okay, what price gets us, like how much money do we need to insert to see $1.50x? You need $150 million to sit on the bid and no one to want it. That's what actually gets it up there, right? And works with Bitcoin, Ethereum, and of course, everything else out there in crypto. So there you go. So 150 million bucks. But remember, that's only moving pHEX. We've got to move the rest of them up as well. That's why, luckily for you friends, right? We're going to play some angel music to remind ourselves of our big key information asymmetry. We have 170,000 ETH sitting there in a wallet that will probably be used to pump. Now, of course, we've seen better days. It's down 36%. Okay, it's down 36%, but that's the game, man. We've got to wait the whole way. That's it. There's no way to cheat this. Eventually, ETH won't be a dog shit $2,000. Hopefully, it'll be 6, 8, towards 10, hopefully around there, and then we'll see better times. But it's nice to see that HEX has started to recover even without it. That's why, last thing I'll tell you, friends, is how many people, if you came to my Telegram, the amount of people who said that they're going to, not everyone did, just a few people, they said they're going to sell today. So this was a few months ago. They're going to sell today and they're just going to buy when Richard starts buying. And I just vehemently tell them, okay, my friend, do you know how markets work? You think you're smart? There are 300 other thousand people who also think they're smart. And they'll have more money. And they will price in Richard's movements before it happens. People are not stupid. The market is not stupid. If Ethereum is at $4,000, everyone knows that Richard Hart's sacrifice wallet is in profit and it could rotate in any second. The market will start to adjust upwards to do that. Now, how much it adjusts, we don't know, but it will. I'll tell you right now, we're not even like guessing. I'll just tell you 100% for a fact it will. So don't think you can always just out with the market. Remember, there's a reason why, friends, you reverse engineer everything. It comes down to that solid saying I always say, like, you know, like only the believers will actually make it to the end. To survive, you really got to believe. Okay, you have to believe it's going to work out. That means long term. That means you're not trading around and trying to guess, oh, what about macro? What about the rates and unemployment rate and the yield curve? Nah, okay. That's not in any stock market saying. That's not in Warren Buffett saying. Okay, you need that confidence. You're never really going to grasp it, man, because you're never truly going to know the future. The confidence you should get is you just look at charts for the past 100 years and you say, wow, there were like 6 wars and 8 nuclear bombs and inflation and food famines and all these things that are exploding. And what do you know? They kept printing money and the market would price in the good times just when you thought it was all over. So that's what you have to believe in. You think this time is different? I don't. I think you're my friend. Like, subscribe, belly button, all. HEX is pumping. Catch you in the next one.